Hey, yo, y'all, what up? What up? What up? Double check this microphone. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. I always try to get my microphone to a middle setting. That kind of helps me with the way that I sound for y'all. That I sound, yes. I'm very thoughtful of how I sound for y'all. Woo-wee. Yeah, I didn't think I would do this particular live stream tonight, if you will. I didn't think I would do this particular live stream, but here we are. We're going to have some fun, especially with this one, because let me get this gum out. I had to get this gum out, trying to be fresh for y'all with this topic, right? Got to have a fresh breath too. Hey, but yeah, this topic is very much controversial and to a certain extent still taboo because everybody has their own opinion or everybody just really doesn't want to talk about it. See, the goal here at this channel is to be as unbiased as possible and also have an inverted perspective on everything. So that way, when you hear what I have to say about a lot of topics, you know that it's not like what anybody else has to say. And maybe, just maybe, there's some truth to what I'm saying over here. Some truth, if not the entire truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God. At least there's some truth to what I'm saying. Hey, what's good, Black Goliath? What's good? Now I probably said your name a little wrong. It looks like your name is Black Goliath. So forgive me for that. Salute to you, fam. Salute to ya. So I'm up here trying to prep for y'all, and while I do that, I want to talk a little bit about kind of what made me want to do a live stream about cheating in the first place. Well, overall, for those who are listening to this on the replay, I believe in the right now it's in the description section of this live stream. There's a previous video that I did. It was an upload that I did talking about cheating. Now, more than likely on the replay, it could end up being the previous video that I did could end up in the comment section of the video of this live stream, if you will. It could end up in the comment section instead, and it's going to be a pinned comment, so that way everybody can reach it a little bit quicker. So that's how I'm going to do that overall. But I feel that, yes, I feel not really just emotionally, but pretty much rhythmically, I feel that like my definition of cheating pretty much is a benchmark. And for those who don't know what my definition of cheating is, it's simply this. My definition of cheating is the underestimation of one's value. But yeah, check out that previous video that I did about cheating. Like I said, for those on the replay, it more than likely shall be a pinned comment in the comment section. But why do I rhythmically feel that cheating is the underestimation of one's value? Because if you summarize everything about what cheating entails, really it's this. How much are you worth it to the person for them to stick around? Okay. A lot of times people want to equate cheating with sleeping with somebody else. That's not technically cheating. It could be other things, but that's not technically cheating. But see, that's been the problem with the majority of this society. They have equated sleeping with somebody else as cheating. Okay. Now there's different levels to this, but really just going back to my definition of cheating being the underestimation of one's value. Keep in mind of what led them to sleep with somebody else, more so than the fact that they're sleeping with somebody else. Just like what you see with the thumbnail. What led the guy to look at another female versus the fact that he's looking at another female? Depending on what type of union you all have, whether it's monogamous or non-monogamous, you have to keep in mind what makes or what makes people more prone to look the other way. Is it something in-house that's kind of off kilter a little bit? You tell me, because I think there's more to it than just this idea that, oh, you're cheating on me because you slept with somebody else. I think that's a very premature and very primitive and elementary way of defining what cheating is or how you would accuse someone of cheating. I think that's very premature and very elementary. And more than likely, the person that's accusing you of doing something with somebody else, more than likely is also doing something with somebody else. Or they have a history of doing things with somebody else, but players don't like to get played. Okay? So that's that. But let me raise up. Let me actually let me do this. I'm trying to raise up my window. Actually raise it down. I don't know. I don't know. I'm trying to make to where y'all can hear me a little better. Yes, yes. I'm actually in my car for this particular live stream because um, it's very good. Cars are very good for noise cancellation, noise isolation. Even though it's hot outside, but hey, I'm Gucci. But hey, I'm in the car. So one could be like, yo, the other AJ, he's in his car doing a live stream because he's actually cheating on somebody. I tell you, boy, people are something else out here, right? But you gotta love it. You got to love it. You got to love it. That's the world that we live in. That's the world that we live in. A lot of these assumptions. Now, speaking of this heat, the heat brings out the thirst. Yes, it does. The heat brings out the thirst. Keep that in mind. So think about every summer that goes by and we hear of all this drama that's taking place. You know, all these crazy breakups, all these crazy affairs, and people busting out each other's windows, throwing each other's clothes out the balcony, bleaching each other's clothes, all these fights and domestic violence calls to the police during these hot times of the year. Literally, the heat brings out the thirst. Okay? Literally. Now, that's a side note, but I just want y'all to think about that as the days get a little hotter outside and you see more distress and more drama take place with a lot of these unions and different types of relationships. The heat is literally bringing out the thirst. Let that marinate. Now, love versus cheating. A lot of people don't know what love is. See, my thing is this. If someone cheats on you based on my definition of cheating, they never loved you in the first place. Why? Because they underestimated your value. Why? Because they didn't feel like, based on their underestimation of your value, they didn't even see you as worth their time. So why were they around you? Because they were using you. That's what they were doing during the times they were around you. Anyone that's with you and then they leave you, they never loved you. They were just using you for that time, that period of time, until it was time for them to move on, because they pretty much were vampires around you. Very vampiristic, okay? So think about that. And that's really, in essence, based on my definition of cheating, how that occurs. When someone is underestimating your value, they only see you good for one thing. They're going to get what they can from you. They only see you as probably good for one thing. They don't see that you're worth more than what they assume you're only good for. And a lot of people come into these unions with you with that type of mindset. Keep in mind that a lot of people have these vendettas. So it's deeper than the fact that someone is sleeping with somebody else. If you want to get biblical with this, you know, you can look this up. Don't take my word for it, but If you want to talk about somebody sleeping with somebody else, before I get to that, let's just talk about this. A lot of this idea of what cheating is comes from people with the monogamous mindset. Last time I checked, most monogamous relationships are the source of many insecurities, sometimes the worst of the insecurities. Okay? Most monogamous relationships harbor the worst of the insecurities. So a lot of this idea of what people perceive as cheating has taken a lot of it's taken a lot of mutations over the years. We won't say evolutions, we won't say refinements, we won't say more of a simplifying of what cheating is. No, cheating itself at this point, based on everybody's idea of cheating, is a very mutated definition of cheating. It's a very mutated definition of cheating. My goal was just to make cheating more simplified. Not literally saying, I'm trying to help you to cheat more simply. No, I'm just saying the actual word itself, the definition. I wanted it to be more simplified, because when it's just that you're underestimating one's value, well, you can do that in many ways besides just sleeping with somebody else. It's not that I'm trying to just throw to the back the idea that somebody slept with somebody else, but I think we take things out of context and we don't put things into proper context. There are other things that people can do to cheat on you besides sleeping with somebody else. Now, to go back to the biblical side of what I was wanting to say, not wanting to digress. Okay, now if we want to talk about this, I guess somebody being with somebody else, because that's usually the way the world defines cheating. Here's how you get them. Well, one definition is adultery, and one definition is fornication. But see, people don't want to hear that because people don't want to be biblical. So here's the deal. Adultery is when someone wants to be with somebody else outside of the marriage union. Outside of the marriage union. Basically, this does basically this doesn't mean that someone is doing something behind your back. It's literally meaning that someone literally wants to be outside of what you have going on with somebody else. The people that do things behind somebody's back, it's technically not that somebody actually does things behind your back. You just had to find out they were actually doing those things. They were hiding it from you. It wasn't really that they were doing it behind your back. Why? Because a person eventually will bring up how and why, and you should have known I was feeling this way, and it was tall tale signs. I really had my heart somewhere else. But people want to talk in codes. People want to use certain deceptions with what they're saying. But all along, they're really telling you how they feel and what they're actually doing. All along. So I just really don't at this point think that people do things behind your back. People just do things outside of what you have going on with them because that's really what they wanted to do, even though that's technically adultery. And it's based on a marriage. Yes. So that's what I mean by that. And what I mean by marriage is based on the biblical definition of marriage. Sex is marriage. Okay. So when you have someone wanting to be around someone else outside of your marriage, what it means is that person no longer wants to be married to you. They would rather be with someone else and no longer married to you. So this idea that you see someone sleep with somebody else, you have to really examine that closely. Usually they have to have their emotions involved in the situation. That's why, ladies, this is for you ladies. The idea of the way a man cheats or sleeps with somebody else is not the same as a way a woman cheats or sleeps with somebody else. Even though ironically, my definition of cheating simplifies it for both genders, because it goes back to the fact that what led them to want to be around someone else besides you. Okay. The question and the issue is not that they were with somebody else. The question and the issue is, did they take their emotions to somebody else? Their spirit, their heart, their time, their presence. And they forgot about you. When they get around you, it's just dry. You know, it's more so this thing of, I don't really like being around you. But when you around this other person, you get all litty up. You get all hype and you know, with guys, he's probably Limp Biscuit, if you will, with the lady that he's been around, but around his other chick, he's like a soldier standing up ready for war. You know, so that's letting you know where one's emotions are at. So yes, I believe in this thing called emotional cheating. But see, going back to the feminine and the feminine is emotional and the masculine is logical. So here's the deal with the feminine that decides to underestimate one's value, didn't see him as worth her time, and then this led her to want to be around someone else emotionally. She's going to be more emotionally involved in that situation, whereas a guy, he's only going to be emotionally involved in another situation if it logically makes more sense to do that, to get out of a bad situation. So you have a lot of females that aren't women. They make a lot of different decisions. They jump the gun automatically and decide to run off and be with somebody else. Ironically, I think this idea of cheating is more so a feminine conversation, a less feminine conversation, if you will, because a lot of them are doing things based off of their emotions and less logic, whereas you will have a more feminine kind of a feminine gender, if you will, not be so quick to go off the rails just to let another guy get at her tail. Despite maybe some things she might be going through with that guy, she knows the love is there. Okay, I'm not just going to run off and be with someone else like that, versus her also knowing that if the man in her life actually was around another lady, if you will, she knows that he's coming home. She knows that he's not necessarily trying to be with her like that because he's not emotionally tied to her like that. And regardless of whatever the situation is, going back to once again, everybody stands, or some folks stands on the type of union they have, whether it's monogamous or not. The key thing is that, sweetie, if he's not throwing you under the bus emotionally for another feminine gender, and he's making sure that you're well taken care of, what are you worried about? What are you worried about? See, the old ladies back in the days, they realized this. They realized what real love was. And real love ain't all those good, gushy feelings. Real love is just making sure that one is taken care of and everything is okay in the home and all the kids are well fed and daddy still came home to make everybody feel welcomed and safe. You know, that's what love was. We forgot about that. And so, ironically, when a man didn't feel appreciated at his home, guess what he did? That's when he left. But he did not consider himself cheating. At that time, he felt cheated on. Now, it could be similar for a lady who she's not giving this man any hard time, but he never wants to come home. Now it's reversed. Now she is the one being cheated on. You see? This is beyond just sleeping with somebody else. And that's kind of what I wanted to break down tonight, and why I believe the world misunderstands cheating. Because to me, cheating has nothing to do with somebody sleeping with somebody else. It's deeper than that. It's beyond that. Hey, what's good, Polo? Salute to you as well, fam. But yeah, we got to get out of these preconceived notions of what we think cheating is. And if one just, just adhere to my definition of cheating, which is the underestimation of one's value, it says nothing about sleeping with somebody else. If someone thought about that as the definition of cheating instead, I think it would save you a lot of hurt in the long run. Because all you're really looking at is if a person really sees you as worth their time. That's all you're looking at. You're looking at that. Now, one can emotionally cheat on you if they're impatient with your time. See, one's impatience is a form of cheating too. Okay, things happen, but you got to be patient. If one is not patient with you and realize that your time is important and that you're a busy person, but you can make sure that things are rearranged and you go and you've always showed up for the most part. If a person doesn't appreciate that, they're cheating on you in that way as well, because they're not appreciating that you do have things you got going on, and you deserve every bit of rest or every bit of whatever you got going on, and you'll get back with a person. Like you make it known that you can reschedule things. Like a lot of this can really bring up a lot of different ideas of what cheating is that I believe have been very misunderstood for so long. Hence the name of this live stream, The World Misunderstands Cheating. And hopefully one can see that what I say ties right in with the way the world thinks, if you will, like how the world actually misunderstands cheating. Now, see, if we go back to what I was saying on the biblical front, I'd mentioned about how adultery is when one steps outside of their union, if you will, or unions. Yes, I added that in there for those who aren't monogamous. This isn't about monogamy. See, a lot of monogamous toxicity has pretty much poured into this idea of what folk think cheating is, when to me, that's just one-dimensional thinking, okay? But when one decides to step outside of whatever they got going on, whether it's monogamous or non-monogamous, meaning that it's not that you're just stepping outside to be with somebody else. You're just stepping outside to be with somebody else and push what you had aside, if you will. Like you're not even trying to go back to what you got established. Okay. That is adultery. Okay. Now, fornication, we're going to get to that now. Fornication, Californication is when you want to, I guess, when you want to be around somebody else, and you don't plan on having a union with that person. So yes, all these people talking about pump and dump, or they have their interpretation of catch and release. All these type of people are doing fornication. So yes, sex without this idea of having a union with a person. I'd rather say that than just say marriage nowadays, because marriage has become a very worldly institution. Marriage was not supposed to be a contract. Marriage is supposed to be a covenant, but we've forgotten about that nowadays. So now I just like to say union. Okay. Now, even though I do say sex is marriage, now, because in its purest form, sex is marriage, but actually sex just represents the, it marks the official union. That's what sex does. Okay, that's what it's supposed to do. Now, just imagine when you have someone that would rather be in union with somebody else. Takes it to another level, right? And now, what do I mean by rather this person wanting to have a union with somebody else? This means they want to be around them instead of you. See, the ladies back in the day understood it different. They didn't take it too personal if a man had sex with another woman, as long as he still was, first of all, having sex with her, but also that he still had a union with her. He didn't just throw her under the bus to be with another woman. See, the women back then looked at things totally different than the females look at things right now. Okay? Just a totally different world. Now, once again, now just also imagine you got all these people having all these unions, male or female, but no one wants to be the real man in the situation. No one wants to be the real woman in the situation. No one wants to be together. They call it a casual hookup. That's fornication. You both are cheating on yourselves. You both don't see each other as worth each other's time. You two are only good for getting the nuts for the squirrel, if you will. To me, I just think people need to really come forth with this, because usually what happens with those casual hookups, people be like, we're not in a relationship, we're not really like together. Okay, that's fornication. You're cheating on each other because you're not trying to be with that person. But see, if you are trying to be with that person, if you will, you're going to be very insecure as to who you think they're going to be with. And of course, people don't get back to the essence of the feminine and the masculine no more, that the way a woman must operate within the union is different than the way a man must operate. You know, we got this whole equality and egalitarian thing going on where, you know, if a man does a certain thing, then how come women can't do it? You see? So you got to get away from people who have that type of mentality. Because, you know, once again, you tie that in with a lot of the monogamous toxicity that's going on. It just really wreaks havoc and really starts to amplify one's falsities about cheating in the first place. I see it all the time. And so that's why yours truly has been smart and wise enough to avoid some of the pitfalls with these modern marriages and having kids with a lot of these females that aren't really understanding how to be a woman in a man's life, if you will. And she's going to assume that one could be cheating when she doesn't understand really what true cheating is in its fullest context. She takes a lot of things out of context. Fellas, you know, you get into a heated conversation with us. I mean, you get into a heated conversation with her. First thing you're going to tell her, look here, hey, darling, hey, shawty, hey, babe, hey, sweetie, hey, look, you taking things out of context right now. And of course, you try to tell her that she's going to start running off at the mouth, you know? But that lets you know she lacks understanding about this idea of cheating. But love versus cheating, in many ways, love overrides the cheating. Based on my definition of cheating, the underestimation of one's value. When you have true love in the building, the last thing you even ever want to think about is the fact that you think this person is going to cheat on you, especially based on my definition. The last thing you ever think about is this person leaving you for somebody else. The last thing you think about is this person not wanting to spend time with you. When there's truly love there, a person is going to make time for you. A person will never leave you for somebody else. And I don't say that from the standpoint of being monogamous. I'm just saying that from the standpoint of love. See, like I said, this thing about this monogamy has brought a lot of toxicity and a lot of insecurities to our unions. And a lot of it has fueled this idea of one's falsities. Yes, one's falsities of what one thinks cheating is. Hey, what's good, Mr. O? What's up, bro? What's up with you as well, fam? But we're going to keep talking about this. See, so I kind of want y'all to see that I won't say I'm killing two birds with one stone, but I'm definitely targeting two birds with one stone, or one infrared beam, if you will. We can go after monogamy, but also talk about cheating at the same time, because I think the two going hand in hand with a lot of this blue pill toxicity as well. And I think we need to just get back to this originality of, I believe the most red pill thing I could have ever done was to come up with my own definition of cheating. Hey, yeah, you missed me bringing up, my bad, Mr. O. You missed me bringing up my definition of cheating, and how I just broke down that, you know, I broke down this idea of adultery and fornication. Well, it's about 28 minutes in, so yeah, you'll just have to listen from the first to the 28 on the replay. But yeah, some good stuff, but we ain't done. We're just 28 minutes in. I'm gonna make this one for an hour for y'all. I know my live stream I did yesterday, given the date of this live, it was just barely under 45 minutes. But I'll make this one an hour for y'all so y'all can digest this real good, okay? But see, to me, based on my definition of cheating, the underestimation of one's value, guys that cheat are barely masculine when he barely has time for you. But technically, most females prefer cheaters. Keep that in mind. To keep a real man means that she has to appreciate his value. You think a lot of the feminine gender out here actually appreciate the value of a real man? I'm gonna wait. I hear crickets. A lot of them don't appreciate a man's value, or a real man's value. So no, she's not going to want to have time for that kind of guy. There you go. She's a cheater right there from the start. So she would prefer a guy that cheats like she cheats. See, this idea that, one is a player. Okay, no. They like players and they like cheaters. That's what's in the game. That's the game for y'all. And I don't even like talking about game, but I peep game. Okay. And because I peep game, I was able to bring up my own definition of cheating. I was able to come up with my own definition of cheating, all thanks to the creator. I give myself no credit or glory. Okay. But we got to keep that in mind that these barely masculine guys are the kind of masculine genders that these females prefer. They prefer the cheaters. They prefer the players and the cheaters, if you will. Okay. Now, the only reason why she's going to come at a certain guy expecting him not to cheat is because ultimately, what? She knows that you're not a player. And she knows that you're not a cheater. I think that went over somebody's head, okay? She expects you not to cheat because she knows that you're not a player and she knows that you're not a cheater. However, she doesn't understand what real cheating is. Now, her version of cheating does exist. They've made up their idea of cheating. Guess what? Games are made up. Games are manufactured. Okay? We can really go deep with this. We can really go deep into this rabbit hole. Okay? I represent the Rabbit Hole Special Forces unit. And I'm always looking for folks to be in my platoon. Just let me know. Hoorah. We can get marching first thing in the morning. Okay? But let's keep going. Kevin Samuels talking about high value men don't cheat. They exercise their options. Okay? Now, I've talked about this sort of before in quite a few different live streams. Let's talk about it here, given that the world misunderstands cheating. Okay? When he says that high value men don't cheat, they exercise their options. Well, here's the deal. There's a lot of different ways you can put that. First of all, when he meets her, he already had options. That's first and foremost. He already had options when he first met her. Second of all, if she's not up to par, he'll just opt out. So there you go. That's how high value men exercise their options. But the funny thing is, a lot of these females that aren't women do the same thing. They have a roster. They have options. They say it. But they realize they can't operate like men do. It always backfires on them. Because there's always going to be that one that got away. And that one that got away was either the guy that was able to outplay her, out-cheat her, or it's the guy that mean well and he wasn't cheating on her, even if she misunderstood him, but she can't get him back because, wow, he was a decent guy. I probably was too hard on him, and I can't even get him back now. See? But yeah, that lets me think about all that. Like, now, I've always said this too, and I would tell this to a lot of those that come from the monogamous background, especially about the ladies, if you will. I'd always say this. I'd say that one woman can't do everything, but there's something that one woman can do. Okay? I'd say that. But a lot of what results in cheating is this. Okay? You'll have someone, she'll be insecure, she'll put that guy in a monogamous situation, but obviously he realizes she can't do everything for him. That's not the way she was designed. She was actually designed to be a specific way with him. Okay, we can get more into that. The Bible says, I'll make a help me for you, not the help me, a help me. We can go deeper in that, but we won't. We won't. Okay. But nevertheless, when a guy tries to put her on a pedestal and he realized she can't be all other woman that he thought that she could be, and obviously she's going to fall short herself, you know, she's going to be like, don't gaslight me, make it seem like I have to be all of this woman for you all the time. Well, that's when things happen. Okay. That's when things happen. But see, a lot of what comes about this cheating is the one woman can't do everything and one man can't be everywhere. Okay. We're going to get to the one man can't be everywhere part. Yeah. But the one woman can't do everything. Just to kind of wrap that up. She gets mad because he got around someone that she does this other thing that she can't do. Instead of being jealous, she should have just specialized at what she was good at with this guy. And if he's a certain type of a man that understands the way women needs to be, he still wouldn't throw her under the bus for another woman. He'll just see that she's good at what she's good at in his life, and he'll keep her there because she is still valuable to him. Goes back to that value. You see? My definition of cheating is underestimating one's value, the underestimation of one's value. He still sees value in her. He'll keep her around. You see? He doesn't see the other woman that he ran into as more valuable than her. But you get a lot of these females that aren't women, you'll get a lot of them wanting to men, they want the man to put them on a pedestal. No woman can be better than me. You can't put no other woman before me. Well, guess what? Give it a couple of months later. You're going to get mad and you're going to have your gun loaded, or you're going to have your little whatever bat out Louisville slugger. Get mad because now you're thinking, how did he still get around her? And I told him that no other woman should be before me. Well, that's the problem, sweetie. You should never put yourself first. You should never do that. What you need to do is just put yourself in his life. Never put yourself first. Always just put yourself in his life, because a real man will never throw you under the bus despite all the women that come his way. Because obviously he's loving you more than them, and he's not doing things with them that he does with you. And if there is a woman that is one way, well, he's definitely not with her the way that he's with you. But you got a lot of these females that aren't women. A lot of them are still very self-centered and narcissistic. Well, I gotta have all of him. He gotta have it all. He gotta be around me all the time. And they say things like that. But in essence, now you're starting to cheat him. You're starting to cheat on him because you're only seeing him as good for one thing. So it once again ties in with this monogamy part. Now we can roll into, now I just said one woman can't do everything and one man can't be everywhere. He can't be everywhere. So now this same situation can be more or less that she wants him there all the time and he's busy. He's a busy man, but he makes sure that she's good when he comes home, but she doesn't have patience. She's not content. She has contempt. Okay. So she's thinking that he's ignoring her, but he's not. He's made time for her. He's always making time for her, but for her, it's never enough. So she wants a guy that's around more often. I need to see you more often. You have to be here, or you have to be doing this, and you have to be doing that. And I know a guy that can do all those things for me. I know a guy that can cater to me. Sounds similar to what you hear a lot of guys say, right? Basically, she wants a simp because she feels that a simp will never cheat on her. So it's the flip side of this idea of what time and value is. but the fact that she wants to soak up all of a man's time. There should be balance. There's got to be balance, because even a real woman don't want a man around her all the time. She wants to be able to miss him. People forgot how to miss each other these days, and still be able to trust each other. You know, the man, he's going to trust in knowing that she's not going to bring another man inside of her while he's gone. She needs to trust and know that even though that man might have other women around him, he's not going to throw her under the bus for those other women. His love for her will never change. But see, you might have those who say, how come you can't just say it in the same context for women as for men, or as for men for women? Because men and women are not the same. But see, no one wants to have that conversation. So this still, to me, really makes it to why I believe the world misunderstands cheating, because they want to make it such an equilibrium thing. It's kind of like, even when you check out a lot of crime scenes, and why you might have some crimes that go unsolved, is because a lot of the witnesses have different accounts of what took place. So similar to certain relationships that come to an end, if you will, everybody has their own perspectives, their own beliefs, their own opinions about the way things took place, should have took place, and even their own opinions of what cheating is, when both people should have been on the same page from day one, or at least as time went on, in a very exponential manner. We shouldn't have to wait many years down the road to realize that we should have been on the same page this whole time, so that we can avoid the pitfalls of what we assume was cheating. Okay? That's why I believe my definition of cheating makes it so simple that you can get all this sorted out within a short period of time of being around each other. Because when it's just the underestimation of one's value, the last thing you're thinking about is who a person is sleeping with. Not that I condone someone sleeping with somebody else that you're not going to commit to, or things like that, or a woman sleeps around like a man does and all that stuff. No. But I am saying that when you love, you don't cheat. You don't underestimate one's value. You don't throw one under the bus. You don't say, hey, I got somebody else I want to talk to and I don't want to deal with you no more. You don't do that. I believe love never dies. And I think when you establish that love with somebody, you should never throw them under the bus for somebody else. You know, you rock it out. But a lot of people don't want to rock it out. They want to walk it out. And that's where the cheating unfolds. Okay? But nobody wants to talk about it. People call themselves, or you get a lot of these females that are women, they'll be like, I moved on. Next time you hear someone like that say, I moved on, just say, no, you're cheating. You're cheating. That's what you're doing. That's what you did. You didn't move on. You cheated. That's what you did. In a nutshell. You didn't think that person was worth your time no more. You didn't believe that it was time worth saving or rebuilding or rejuvenating or continuing on with. Hey, what's good, Mike? What's good, fam? No, you just felt like, time is up. Time is out. Well, time for one to realize that you was cheating. Okay? But like I said, nobody wants to talk about it. But yeah, a lot of what's taking place, based on a lot of what I've said, it has resulted in a lot of things. And I could talk about it later, but a lot of people have these ideas of what they call these open relationships. And I believe this idea of open relationship is very vague. And notice, one will say, well, you speak out against monogamy. I never said I was against monogamy. But it's just that it's a double standard, and it's sort of hypocritical, this idea of open relationship as well as monogamy. Because you'll have someone that they'll be in an open relationship per se, or open with you, but then the time comes for you two to, I guess, be around each other. Now you don't want them to see anybody else. But like I said, it goes back to the way the feminine, it's supposed to go back to the way the feminine and the masculine operate amongst each other. But no, you have a lot of the feminine that don't want to be truly feminine, okay? And thus they don't respect one that's truly masculine. And that's only because she's been around guys that were less masculine. Basically, fellas, hey, what's good, John? Basically, fellas and ladies that are listening to this, um, what happens is she just wants the guy to be less masculine around her for the most part. Even the guy that is more masculine that comes around her, she's talking to him as if he was like one of those guys that cheated on her. Okay? It's like I'm not like those guys. Don't come at me like that. I'm not one of those kind of guys. I move a certain way as a man, but I'm not one of these guys that's out here trying to cheat on you like those males you have. Because I truly understand what cheating is. Because I listened to the other Ray J tonight. Okay. And by the way, like I said, for those coming in the building, yeah, look in the description section. You'll see that I have a previous upload that I did breaking down the definitions of cheating. And for those listening to this on the replay, you'll see in the comment section that same link, but it should be pinned. Okay. But I got a few more things I can wrap this up with. But like I've been telling y'all, for those who've been at my channel for quite some time now, I give out recipes. I don't give out game. I give out recipes, okay? Now look up the root word of recipe. Look up the root word, which is reci, R-E-C-I. Look up that root word, okay? Now, that root word has similar words to it. You have reciprocal, you have receive, you have receipt, okay? Similar to recipe. All these words are similar, and it derives from a Latin word which is recipere. And basically that word means to receive, because initially, like recipes, they were for the pharmaceutical business. Now they shift from recipe to formula for the pharmaceuticals, but recipe is still used for the culinary, for those who make food. Now, what happens is uh, you would get a receipt for the recipe that you received. So that's how all those words came to be. I kid you not. So how does this tie in with my topic tonight, just to kind of wrap this up? Okay. Because it goes back to what I've said before. Real love is reciprocal. Okay. Now, if it's, it starts with the man. The man always initiates everything. Okay. And the idea of the woman in your life is to continue what you've started. Basically, she's interested in what you have and who you are, and she wants to continue on with you. Okay. So that's just no different than the heart. You get the heart to start beating, then the heart just continues to beat on. It's a reciprocation. Okay. That's what it is. So overall, if we're tying in my definition of cheating, where one does not appreciate who you are, but I guess, yeah, let's actually say my definition of cheating. Let's say my definition of cheating. When it gets down to, and it gets down to the point of where there's an underestimation of one's value. What takes place is, I guess in that situation of my definition of cheating, he doesn't want to start a life with her, or she doesn't want to continue life with him. See? But that's no different than the heart. Have y'all noticed that? He doesn't want to start life or start a life with her. No different than starting the heart, getting the heart to initially pump, okay? Or she doesn't want to continue life, meaning she doesn't want to keep the heart pumping. She doesn't want to keep the love going. She doesn't want to keep the union going. Her idea of cheating, which she doesn't realize, because she doesn't see this life, this heart, whatever y'all got going on, as worth her time. Hence the heartbreak afterwards. Ooh. Hey, what's good, Venom? What's good, fam? But that's what's taking place. And this is why I believe the world misunderstands cheating, because they don't understand all this reciprocation that really comes from all these relations. And it really doesn't have anything to do with the sex part. The sex is just a result of a lack of reciprocation. Don't worry about who she slept with. Think about what led her to sleep with that other person. That's the problem. Likewise, sweetie, don't trip off who he slept with. Think about what made him want to sleep with her. Okay? But most importantly, is he loving you? Okay? Or you're not loving him? Okay? Either or. Is he loving you, or are you not loving him? Or fellas, is she loving you, or you not is she loving you, or you not loving her, or y'all know what I mean. It's so many ways we could break this down. Okay? So many ways we could break this down. And that's why I believe the world misunderstands cheating. There, I'm done in a nutshell. I'm done, y'all. I'm done in a nutshell with this one. Yeah, because that's what's been lacking. I'm just tired of everybody assuming that just because they feel like they caught someone sleeping with somebody else, they say that's cheating. No, it's deeper than that. You got to go beyond just the fact that you felt like somebody was sleeping with somebody else. I know for me, and I could bring this up, I have no problem sharing this. When I felt betrayal at one point in my life, it wasn't about who she slept with. Yeah, that was jacked up. She was acting unladylike, of course. But that wasn't what bothered me. What bothered me was she no longer had a heart for me. But then that made me realize she never had a heart for me. So there you go. It brings up really what cheating is versus what a lot of people want to assume. And I'd say this. I'd say this. Make sure that you have that discussion before things take place, or things go further, or things get deeper. Because for some folk, it could be the difference between life and death based on how one wants to assume things. You got people poisoning people's food. Yeah, you got people poisoning people's food. You got people so insecure they want to look through people's phones. Now let's talk about cheating beforehand. Let's talk about cheating before we go further. Oh, you want to live with me? But you have this misunderstanding about cheating. We got a problem. We got a problem. Okay? Because I have my understanding of cheating. But if you don't agree with yeah, you can put me on the chopping block. Okay? The other Ray J has his definition of cheating. But if you do not agree with the other Ray J's definition of cheating, we need to talk about that. And if that requires us going our separate ways, we can do that too. But at least that can be understood, because cheating is so misunderstood these days. Hopefully this live makes sense to some. Maybe this live did not make sense to others. To the others that this live made sense to, feel free to hit that like button, especially those listening to this on the replay. Yes, especially those listening to this on the replay. If this is your first time attending my live streams, or you've checked out some of my uploads for the first time, given that this is your first time at my channel and you like what I got, just know that there's definitely more in store. So make sure that you subscribe, share this live, as well as my other content, including my archives. Check out my playlist. I got an extensive playlist, quite a few things, quite a few playlists. Also, for those on the replay, you'll see in the description section for sure other channels you can subscribe to of mine, other platforms that I'm on, and even the email if you want to reach me, whether business or personal, as long as you're being respectful. Okay? If you want to tip yours truly, that's also in the description section. And make sure, for those who are new to this channel, and even if you're not, make sure that you hit that notification bell so that you get all of my uploads in real time. And I hope that this live stream has been a blessing to all of y'all, the whole world. that misunderstands cheating. And despite of cheating, it's only going to continue to get better out there, no matter what it looks like, and no matter how hot it is. No matter how hot it is. It's actually not that hot in my car because yeah, the windows are down and there's a nice breeze. But yeah, the voice, it just sounds better in the car sometimes. Yeah, but there's definitely more in store, y'all. I'm gonna try to get more frequent with my uploads. I've been real busy lately, but I do these live streams here and there just to still let y'all know I'm here. And given that these live streams are about an hour long, some are over an hour, some are 2 hours, some are slightly over 2 hours, you can digest a lot from my live streams that'll make up for my lack of uploads lately. But yeah, I'm definitely going to get back into putting out more uploads as well. Until next time, signing out, y'all. Much love. Thanks for stopping by. See you on the next one.